Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Friday, 3rd day of March, 5th day of Adar. Here we go. We are now about a week away to Parsha Zachar. Parsha Zachar is going to be not this Shabbos, but next. And on that Shabbos, we're going to read a special portion at the end of the Parsha of Kiseitze, which talks about the war that we had with the nation of Amalek. And once a year on Parsha Zachar, we fulfill the commandment, which is to remember to eradicate the memory of Amalek. We read about how they battled us when we left Egypt and how we were victorious thanks to God. And we say that it's always going to be kind of like a pitted battle of Amalek against the Jews, and the Jews shall eradicate the memory of Amalek, stamp it out, erase it. And we do that once a year on the Parsha Zachar with big announcements. Everybody comes to Shul. It's a week away still, but I just want you to know about it. And everybody comes to Shul, men, women, and children. Children, if they're old enough to fulfill the mitzvah. And they listen to the reading, and it helps us eradicate the memory of Amalek. Maybe you can tell where I'm going. If you wanted to eradicate the memory of Amalek, one can consider a better way to do that. Instead of reinvigorating the story each year by talking about it and announcing it and having everyone come to shul thinking about it, how about if we just stop talking about Amalek and just forget about them? And that way their memory would really go away. Wouldn't Hashem rather that we do that instead of reawakening their memory every single year and then stamping it out? And I want you to know, I have the same question about the name of Haman. You know what happens in the Megillah? We make a big deal to stamp out his name, right? So we make a lot of noise. And sometimes the noise covers over us hearing the name. So they say Haman, we try to stamp it out, we erased it too well, and then the Chazan, the Baal Koreh, the reader, actually has to say the name again so that we could hear it clearly, so we could stamp it out. Something weird is going on here. I know Haman's from Amalek, but what are we doing? In our effort to eradicate them, we keep I don't know, reawakening their memory. Why are we doing it that way? That's my question for you. The answer, one possible answer is, you see, to just stop talking about Amalek is not what God wants. To just forget about them is not what God wants, because it's a pitted battle of the theory of Amalek against the theory of the Jews for all time. God wants us to see their theory, which I'll tell you about in just a second, see the theory head on and stamp on that and say, no, that's not how it is. What is their theory? What is their strong-held belief, their core value? They believe that there's no God. There's no direction in the world. Everything is just up to chance. That's why the holiday is even called Purim. The Pur means like a lot, like a lottery. And Haman was choosing the date, which ended up being the great holiday of Purim, based on a raffle. Just, what felt random to him. Because they don't believe there's God. They don't believe that God controls the world. God says, I want you to look that theory in the face. Now forget about it. Look it in the face and say, no, that's not how it is. There is a God. There is fate. God has everything under his control. Of course, he gives us free will. That's the beauty of this delicate trapeze of a system where God knows everything, sees everything, controls everything, and says, man, in this system, you have free will to make your choices, and I'll be watching accordingly, even though I know the outcomes, by the way. Whole nother question. So what's happening here is that God says, I want you to see the nature of Amalek. They believe there's no fate. They believe that there's no purpose. Everything is just random. You do and you do and you live and you have pleasure, and then you just drop dead and you rot in the ground. And we believe, oh, no, 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 there's a lot of meaning to life. There's a purpose, there are choices, there's reward, there's punishment, and all that stuff. So God says, note what Amalek is, note it clearly, say it clearly, see it, stare it in the face, and then say, no, I stamp on that. I believe that there's a God. I believe he controls everything. And that's the great message of the Parsha of Zachar. Thanks for logging on. I hope that made sense. Log on again after Shabbos for more. Bye-bye.